the map, the ridge should be east, if we're still on the trail.
Then we keep moving. Stay close.
A strange transmission came from the old watchtower.
Between the trees, it is not human.
A squad of 8, led by Captain Ryan, was sent to investigate. Their mission: find the source and return before dawn.
This trail should have put us near the river an hour ago.
We turned around. Trees all look the same out here.
East has to be that way. Sun's breaking through the canopy.
Then we move. Stay low.
Let's go.
Don't look behind you.
What?
Clear. Don't look behind you.
What?
Clear. Don't look behind you.
What?
Clear.
They locked the door.
Tower. Slow, heavy, unnatural. Silence. Complete. Can you hear me? Don't let it see you. It is behind you. Can you hear me? Don't let it see you. It is behind you.
They locked the door.
Tower. Slow, heavy, unnatural. Then silence. Complete.
They locked the door.
Climb the tower. Slow, heavy, unnatural. Then silence. Complete.
They locked the door.
Climb the tower. Slow, heavy, unnatural. Then silence. Complete.
They locked the door.
Climb the tower. Slow, heavy, unnatural. Then silence. Complete.
They locked the door.
Climb the tower. Slow, heavy, unnatural. Then silence. Complete.
They locked the door.
Climb the tower. Slow, heavy, unnatural. Then silence. Complete.
Hold on! Hold on! There!
Do not let it leave the forest.
Hold on! Hold on! There!
Do not let it leave the forest.
Hold on! Hold on! There!
Do not let it leave the forest.
The forest shifted, paths changed, trees moved, it was alive. We ran, but the woods looped forever. Then the dead appeared, soldiers who'd vanished years ago. It doesn't kill people, it...
Don't look behind you.
What?
Clear.
The forest shifted, paths changed, trees moved, it was alive. We ran, but the woods looped forever. Then the dead appeared, soldiers who'd vanished years ago. It doesn't kill people, it... The forest shifted, paths changed, trees moved, it was alive. We ran, but the woods looped forever. Then the dead appeared, soldiers who'd vanished years ago. It doesn't kill people, it... The forest shifted, paths changed, trees moved, it was alive. We ran, but the woods looped forever. Then the dead appeared, soldiers who'd vanished years ago. It doesn't kill people, it... The forest shifted, paths changed, trees moved, it was alive. We ran, but the woods looped forever. Then the dead appeared, soldiers who'd vanished years ago. It doesn't kill people, it...
Hear that?
Just the crows, man. According to the map, the ridge should be east, if we're still on the trail.
Then we keep moving. Stay close.
Captain Ryan, can you hear me? You're safe now.
What happened in there? We never entered the forest. What do you mean? The forest!
Enter us! Easy, easy!
It's not over.
Captain Ryan, can you hear me? You're safe now.
What happened in there? We never entered the forest. What do you mean? The forest!
Enter us! Easy, easy!
It's not over.
Hear that?
Just the crows, man. According to the map, the ridge should be east, if we're still on the trail.
Then we keep moving. Stay close.
A strange transmission came from the old watchtower.
Between the trees, it is not human.
A squad of 8, led by Captain Ryan, was sent to investigate. Their mission: find the source and return before dawn.
This trail should have put us near the river an hour ago.
We turned around. Trees all look the same out here.
East has to be that way. Sun's breaking through the canopy.
Then we move. Stay low.
Let's go.
Don't look behind you.
What?
Clear. Don't look behind you.
What?
Clear. Don't look behind you.
What?
Clear.
They locked the door.
Tower. Slow, heavy, unnatural. Silence. Complete. Can you hear me? Don't let it see you. It is behind you. Can you hear me? Don't let it see you. It is behind you.
They locked the door.
Tower. Slow, heavy, unnatural. Then silence. Complete.
They locked the door.
slow, heavy, unnatural. Then silence, complete.
They locked the door.
Climb the tower. Slow, heavy, unnatural. Then silence, complete.
They locked the door.
Climb the tower. Slow, heavy, unnatural. Then silence, complete.
They locked the door.
Climb the tower. Slow, heavy, unnatural. Then silence, complete.
They locked the door.
Climb the tower. Slow, heavy, unnatural. Then silence, complete.
Hold on! Hold on! There!
Not let it leave the forest.
Hold on! Hold on! There!
Not let it leave the forest.
Hold on! Hold on! There!
Not let it leave the forest.
The forest shifted, paths changed, trees moved, it was alive. We ran, but the woods looped forever. Then the dead appeared, soldiers who'd vanished years ago. It doesn't kill people, it...
Don't look behind you.
What?
Clear.
The forest shifted, paths changed, trees moved, it was alive. We ran, but the woods looped forever. Then the dead appeared, soldiers who'd vanished years ago. It doesn't kill people, it... The forest shifted, paths changed, trees moved, it was alive. We ran, but the woods looped forever. Then the dead appeared, soldiers who'd vanished years ago. It doesn't kill people, it... The forest shifted, paths changed, trees moved, it was alive. We ran, but the woods looped forever. Then the dead appeared, soldiers who'd vanished years ago. It doesn't kill people, it... The forest shifted, paths changed, trees moved, it was alive. We ran, but the woods looped forever. Then the dead appeared, soldiers who'd vanished years ago. It doesn't kill people, it...
Hear that?
Just the crows, man. According to the map, the ridge should be east, if we're still on the trail.
Then we keep moving. Stay close.
Captain Ryan, can you hear me? You're safe now.
What happened in there? We never entered the forest. What do you mean? The forest!
Enter us! Easy, easy!
It's not over.
Captain Ryan, can you hear me? You're safe now.
What happened in there? We never entered the forest. What do you mean? The forest!
Enter us! Easy, easy!
It's not over.
Hear that?
Just the crows, man. According to the map, the ridge should be east, if we're still on the trail.
Then we keep moving. Stay close.
A strange transmission came from the old watchtower.
Between the trees, it is not human.
A squad of 8, led by Captain Ryan, was sent to investigate. Their mission, find the source and return before dawn.
This trail should have put us near the river an hour ago.
We turned around. Trees all look the same out here.
East has to be that way. Sun's breaking through the canopy.
Then we move. Stay low.
Let's go.
Don't look behind you.
What?
Clear. Don't look behind you.
What?
Clear. Don't look behind you.
What?
Clear.
They locked the door.
Tower. Slow, heavy, unnatural. Silence, complete. Can you hear me? Don't let it see you. It is behind you. Can you hear me? Don't let it see you. It is behind you.
They locked the door.
Tower. Slow, heavy, unnatural. Then silence, complete.
They locked the door.
Climb the tower. Slow, heavy, unnatural. Then silence, complete.
They locked the door.
Climb the tower. Slow, heavy, unnatural. Then silence, complete.
They locked the door.
Climb the tower. Slow, heavy, unnatural. Then silence, complete.
They locked the door.
Climb the tower. Slow, heavy, unnatural. Then silence, complete.
They locked the door.
Climb the tower. Slow, heavy, unnatural. Then silence, complete.
Hold on! Hold on! There!
Not let it leave the forest.
Hold on! Hold on! There!
Not let it leave the forest.
Hold on! Hold on! There!
Not let it leave the forest.
The forest shifted, paths changed, trees moved, it was alive. We ran, but the woods looped forever. Then the dead appeared, soldiers who'd vanished years ago. It doesn't kill people, it...
Don't look behind you.
What?
Clear.
The forest forest shifted, paths changed, trees moved, it was alive. We ran, but the woods looped forever. Then the dead appeared, soldiers who'd vanished years ago. It doesn't kill people, it... The forest shifted, paths changed, trees moved, it was alive. We ran, but the woods looped forever. Then the dead appeared, soldiers who'd vanished years ago. It doesn't kill people, it... The forest shifted, paths changed, trees moved, it was alive. We ran, but the woods looped forever. Then the dead appeared, soldiers who'd vanished years ago. It doesn't kill people, it... The forest shifted, paths changed, trees moved, it was alive. We ran, but the woods looped forever. Then the dead appeared, soldiers who'd vanished years ago. It doesn't kill people, it...
Hear that? Just the crows, man. According to the map, the ridge should be east, if we're still on the trail.
Then we keep moving. Stay close.
Captain Ryan, can you hear me? You're safe now.
What happened in there? We never entered the forest. What do you mean? The forest!
Enter us! Easy, easy!
It's not over.
Captain Ryan, can you hear me? You're safe now.
What happened in there? We never entered the forest. What do you mean? The forest!
Enter us! Easy, easy!
It's not over.